So I think the lockdown one, which was the phase one, the most immediate response, during that time, almost the entire marketplace was shut, and all our effort really went into focusing on providing monetary assistance and monetary support to our service partners. That was the more immediate need at that point of time, which we focused on. So across a whole host of initiatives, we were able to put together a monetary package of roughly about 20 crores for our service partners. Additionally, we also got all our partners free COVID-19 insurance, which ensures that they have both health insurance up to 25,000 rupees and income protection up to 14,000 rupees. In phase one, we had only got it till the end of June. Now we have extended that benefit till June 2021 and extended the cover up to 25,000 rupees flat for anybody who gets COVID-19. So this was the immediate sort of monetary and medical response. As we started entering phase two, some of the services started to pick up. And so phase one and phase two, both in parallel, what our effort was around understanding the right safety protocols to put in place. But as we entered phase two, some services were allowed to resume. So we had electricians, plumbers, appliance repair services. These were allowed to resume in many areas. And while business was still, very, very small, at least it gave us enough volumes to start testing the safety protocol. We were finally able to put together, 8 very, very systematic safety protocols. So the first is extensive use of masks, gloves, sanitizers, eyewear, and sanitization spray. So we created a daily temperature check system where every day partners we do a daily temperature check. So we have created the first of its kind sick leave program. So giving them that confidence that if they have the mildest of symptoms, they can report, no questions asked, sick leave is put in place, they start getting paid immediately. Then the doctor consultation happens, then the COVID test happens. If the COVID test is positive, they get the insurance benefit, etc., etc. So all of that is actually very, very helpful for them, as well as a strong safety protocol. The third thing we said was that in any of our beauty services, we will only use single-use sachet products as well as disposables, so that there's no cross-contamination that can happen. And all the tools that will be used will be sanitized before and after the service in front of the customer. And in our home repair and maintenance services, we created new SOPs to ensure that all of the service experience is contactless. There is no contact between the customer and the service professional. So these were put in place. The fourth is, we asked our partners to use the Arogya Setu app. The fifth, we created a very interesting technology which allows geofencing of containment centers or containment areas. And what this basically does is that the moment the government of India announces a containment center, in about 10 minutes or so every day, our technology geofences it. And then no customer inside the containment zone can order services, and no service professional who might be residing in the containment zone can deliver services outside. And that ensures a lot of protection. And then all our partners in lockdown 1 and lockdown 2 underwent a mandatory 7-day online training program in all of these safety SOPs, as well as other WHO prescribed safety guidelines. And only when they cleared these were they allowed to resume work on the marketplace. As we entered lockdown 3, all our home services were allowed across red, orange, and green zones. And beauty services were allowed to resume in orange and green zones. So for our home service business, which was electricians, plumbers, AC repair, refrigerator repair, washing machine repair, etc., order volume started to pick up. And as we entered lockdown 4 now, where even beauty has been allowed across most zones, we are seeing, in many categories, a surge in order volumes. In fact, in some categories, we are now supply constrained or service partner constrained. The beauty service and the wellness service is something that, honestly, it's early days because it's just been allowed. What I can tell you is that during lockdown 2 and 3, we had created a wait list for these services, and that wait list reached about 1,20,000. That said, there are always some services which are more permanently impacted. So in the beauty service, we expect at least over time demand to pick up, particularly because we expect a shift in behavior towards more at-home consumption versus stepping out and going to a salon. That's inevitable. But in services like spa, massage, interiors, painting, we don't expect demand to come back anytime soon. And to compensate, we've launched many new service categories. Like we've launched a very interesting service category called disinfection and sanitization services for all our, which are being used in commercial setups. Now small shops, etc., are using them. We've launched a kids activities and kids extracurricular online service where you can book a French tutor, etc., online. So a bunch of new services are also being launched. So that's how things have sort of panned out for us, over the last 2 months. Yes, so almost all of them have come back. Some of them have, had moved and migrated, although our, migration numbers were significantly smaller compared to, the overall economy as well as most other similar platforms. So in the case of Urban Company, only about 12 to 15% people had moved. And many of them have also indicated that they would like to come back after they saw all our processes as well as all our monetary support. Additionally, we are seeing, we are inundated with new service partners who were not working on Urban Company earlier, who want to now join the platform. And the reason is, unfortunately, many of them have lost their jobs in salons, in barber shops, in local repair shops, etc. We are trying to see how many we can onboard. And wherever there is a demand constraint, we are onboarding. But one very interesting behavior we've seen is also existing partners referring their friends who were earlier not working. A lot of the service needs will also shift to much more essentials like haircuts. As far as beauty essentials are concerned, haircuts, waxing, these are considered to be essentials. And then there are certain facials, etc. not considered. So a lot of the beauty industry will start shifting in this direction. Beauty in particular, I think the industry will shrink in the medium term. In the long term, it's a very resilient industry and it will bounce back. But in the medium term, I think it will shrink for reasons that you've articulated. We're actually partnering with salon chains, standalone salon shops and reputed good salons to take them online and take them at home. I think with respect to geographic expansion, you're right, it's unlikely that we will enter any new geographies. Anyways, even before the pandemic, we had, for a few months paused entering new markets because we had entered a flurry of new markets, both internationally as well as domestically. In the last 1 year, we've expanded from 8 Indian cities to 18 Indian cities, and globally also we've launched 4 cities, Sydney, Singapore, UAE, and in UAE we've launched Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So I think the geographic footprint expansion had happened quite substantially before the COVID, and this was a decision even before COVID where we had said that at least for a year or two we should do justice to the new geographies that we find ourselves in.